Hello everyone and welcome back to my true crime channel. I hope you're all well. If, like me, you're avidly following the case of missing 5-year-old Summer Wells, I'm sure you've heard the latest shocking news in the case. Grandma is back. So overnight there has been big news in the case of Summer Wells on Crime Stories Obsessed, which is another true crime YouTube channel. The host, Emma, shockingly, apparently, has been speaking to Grandma. So since Emma's live went out, which was really interesting to listen to, Don's friends, I'm sure you can guess who I mean, have claimed that they've spoken to Don, they've spoken to Candace, spoken to Grandma, and Grandma's not spoken to anyone. So you could take from that that's either made up or they did say that. And if they did say that, could a fake account have been being used, or could someone have hacked Grandma's Facebook? I'm not saying it didn't happen. I believe that Emma has got a good heart and is obviously trying to help find Summer Wells. I can't see why that channel would want to make this up. So I do believe that it's true, but obviously I can't be sure. I wasn't there. People do hack people's social media accounts, unfortunately. Stuff like that does happen. Hopefully it was Grandma, because if it is, a lot of the things that she said were a real eye-opener. As I said, guys, you should pop across to Crime Stories Obsessed. It's a really good channel. The host, like me, Emma, is British. I really recommend that you check her out, guys, and listen to that live, because it was a really interesting thing to listen to. I was quite shocked when I heard that Grandma had spoken out. Obviously, like I said, guys, I can't be sure it was Grandma, but the things to note from it, and I'm not going to list them all because you should perhaps go and listen to the live and listen to it for yourselves if you haven't had the chance yet. But things that stuck out for me was Grandma saying that she knows it's definitely not her daughter Candace's fault that Summer, her granddaughter, went missing, and she pretty much alluded that she doesn't particularly like Don Wells. She also said that I found very interesting that not only did she go away to care for her brother-in-law, who's been very unwell, her sister's husband, she also left because of the stress of the situation of Summer disappearing and because she's been suffering from depression. So as someone that has had people in my family suffer from mental health and depression, I was really saddened to hear that Grandma has been suffering from depression. It's not surprising after her granddaughter went missing. Her daughter is already missing and has been missing for a number of years. So not only has she got a missing daughter, Grandma, bless her, or Candy is her actual name, she's now got a missing granddaughter. It must be extremely stressful, especially if she's not involved. We don't know whether she is or whether she isn't. And I'm not surprised she wanted to get away. If you do suffer from depression, being in such a stressful situation really wouldn't do you any favours. So I was really saddened to hear that. My thoughts go out to the Grandma. I don't know whether she was involved. She might not be. But especially if she's not, I hope she's doing okay. And I really hope that she's potentially seeing a doctor or a medical practitioner to help with her depression. So what I found really interesting about this case is a lot of other YouTube channels, very sadly, are all having rows with each other. Lots of people don't agree with one another and then, you know, start having a pop at the other channel and saying nasty things about them, and I really don't want to get involved in that. I know not everyone agrees with my opinions that the parents have got guilty knowledge. I've never said whether they did it or they didn't. I've always felt that Candace had an accident, or there was an accident in Candace's care that day, potentially at that watering hole, or potentially on the way home something else happened. Could Summer have had an accident and banged her head? Did she go under the water for too long? Was she left in the car for too long? Was there an accident at the house? They're things I've always wondered. Regarding the house, I've often wondered if there was an accident on that swing. And just going back to the swing, I have mentioned it in other videos, but the swing often got mentioned if you think back. Hunter even said in his interview with Chris from the interview room, Summer will never leave that swing. It was something along them lines. And in Candace and Don's very first interview, if you remember back that far, guys, I know it's a couple of months ago now, but Candace said something along the lines of Summer loved her swing and she wouldn't sort of stray from the swing. Well, no one mentioned the swing. No one said she went missing whilst on the swing. So why has that swing always been mentioned? It's never sat well with me. I've seen the video of Summer swinging on the swing and it does go very high for a 5-year-old. I don't know if my parents would have let me swing up that high at that age, but just my opinion, guys. As always, I don't really want to judge the parents on that, but I've often wondered, was there an accident at that home? Not necessarily on the swing, it could have been something else, but I've always believed the parents know what happened and potentially have covered up an accident. Now, as I've said in all my other videos, guys, I hope the parents aren't involved. I don't want to find out that Candace and Don are to blame for their daughter's disappearance, you know, whether it's an accident covered up or something much more sinister. Accident covered up would be a lot, you know, less bad, but it's still very bad, and I hope that's not what's happened. I just hope that they didn't harm her on purpose. I've never bought the abduction theory. It's never sat well with me. They're ever-changing stories, especially Don, as I've mentioned in all my other videos, how his timelines keep constantly changing, make me suspect that something very dodgy has gone on here. But I don't know what it is, guys, just like you don't. We weren't there. We can only speculate. I just hope that they're not involved. So I must admit, guys, I was gobsmacked that the grandma has chosen to speak out. You know, 2 months have passed since her granddaughter disappeared, nearly 3 months even, and now she chooses to speak out to a true crime YouTube channel when that's what Don does every other day. I was really surprised by that, especially as Candace hasn't been given interviews other than to Chris from the interview room, which was a number of weeks ago now. So I was quite surprised by it, which did make me think it could be fake, but I'm not saying it was. I'm not too sure one way or the other whether it was really the grandma, but I hope it was, because if it was, it did give quite a insight into what happened that day and how she really feels about Dom. Just going back to how grandma really feels about Dom, perhaps not only because of the stress and the depression, she had to get away from Don. I mean, Jesus, it's not really surprising after what we found out about Don Wells and his very shady, horrific and disgraceful past and present. So it's not surprising she wanted to get away. I've just found it always very strange that she abandoned her daughter, but if she has got depression, she has been suffering from stress, she's got ill relatives, she's already got a missing daughter, perhaps people should judge her less for leaving. I know I've often wondered why she did and thought it was bizarre, but I don't want to judge the woman. She may not be involved in her granddaughter's disappearance. It does seem strange that she disappeared when she did, but if the police suspected her, I very much doubt they would have let her leave. So as always, guys, I'm praying for Summer Wells' safe return. I hope that little girl's going to be found. Maybe if that was Grandma speaking out to the true crime channel that I have mentioned, perhaps this case is going to get solved soon. If people from the family are going to speak out more, if they are involved, and that's just a big if that I'll caveat there because I don't know that they are, but they may slip up eventually and drop themselves in it. Perhaps it's not them. Is this case going to drag out for years? I do suspect it might, but obviously I hope not, but I just wonder when there's going to be a break in the case. It's really difficult to know. Something else to note, guys, is that everybody's been wondering why Chris from the interview room has gone a bit quiet. Unfortunately, I have heard he's been quite unwell. Bless him. I'm very sorry to hear that. Sending you get well wishes, Chris. I hope you feel better soon. But from what I can gather, he's going to be back on his channel tomorrow night at, I think, 1 o'clock in the morning, English time, into Bank Holiday Monday, which would obviously still be Sunday for you guys in America. I am often up still at 1 in the morning looking at what's happening with Summer's case. And obviously, I would imagine on Monday or Tuesday, I will let you guys know what I think of Chris's latest instalment on his channel. If it is about Summer, I believe it will be. But I was very saddened to hear that Chris has been unwell, and I'm hoping he's feeling a lot better now. So this really is a bizarre case. I've often wondered, why is Summer Wells' case so fascinating to the whole world? In my opinion, and it is just my opinion, guys, as always, but it's a bit like a soap opera. We have a couple of programmes here in England called EastEnders and Coronation Street. I did used to watch them many moons ago. I don't really watch a lot of TV now. I'm more of a YouTube and a Netflix kind of girl. I don't watch much terrestrial TV anymore, but EastEnders is basically something you watch when, hate to say it, you've got your own problems, you don't want to think about them, and you'd rather watch what's happening in the Queen Vic, which is the pub in that soap opera, see what everybody's rowing about, and it takes your mind off your problems for a little while. I do wonder with Summer's case, and I don't mean this in a bad or negative way, but are people so interested in it, they can look at all the drama with the Wells family, with Don and Candace, and forget about their own problems for a while. Not only that, just, you know, forgetting about your own problems, being able to be so engulfed in another family's life, another family's drama. The fact her father gives constant interviews and has now sort of been, you know, exposed as, you know, a very shady and unpleasant person. I'll leave it at that. That's what's interesting about this case. It's not your average true crime case. It's become a worldwide case that people around the world are interested in, not just in England and America. People in Europe are interested in it, and not just Europe, many countries around the world. So Summer's case really has captivated everyone, and the main reason, not just because of the drama of the family, the weirdness of the little girl's disappearance, the fact that it's a bit like a soap opera. I think the main reason, and the number one reason for me, is that we've all took Summer Wells into our heart. Well, anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you my reaction to the grandma speaking out. I have been shocked about it. I have listened to it in full. I'm not going to go back through everything that was said, because you should get over to the channel that put it out, and I will put a link in my description of my video. Check out that channel. The girl Emma on the channel does a fantastic job. It's crime stories obsessed. Go and check it out now and give Emma a sub. But anyway, guys, as always, I am praying for the return of Summer Wells. Pray for that little girl, that little 5-year-old girl that we've all took into our hearts. I hope this case is solved soon. I will have more videos coming out. There has been some other shocking news in the case that I do want to report on, so I will be updating you on that, hopefully later today, if not tomorrow. And as always, guys, I hope you're well. I hope you're having a great day wherever it is that you are in this big wide world of ours. And as usual, I will be back with you very soon. Bye for now.